Hey guys, my name is Eric. Pleasure to meet you all. I've been in the crypto space for 4 or 5 years now, serving institutional clients. I've been a sell-side trader in the capacity, and I hope to answer any of the questions you may have, and I hope we have a good discussion today regarding the FOMC. So stay tuned.
Awesome. So thank you, Boris and Eric, for your introductions. So let's talk about how the rate decisions can impact the market. So in the case of the crypto market, it's possible that the rate hike could lead to a temporary drop in prices as investors reevaluate their risk appetite and shift their focus to other investments. However, it's also possible that the crypto market could continue to grow as investors seek alternative investments that are less affected by interest rates and other traditional economic factors. Ultimately, the impact of the rate hike on the crypto market will depend on a variety of factors, including the specifics of the rate hike itself and overall state of the global economy. It's important to keep a close eye on these factors and stay up to date on the latest developments in order to make informed investment decisions. This is where Powell's tone will come into play. So, Eric, what are your thoughts on the rate hike?
So in general, for every investor and trader out there listening, the Federal Open Market Committee, the FOMC decision, and the impact of the markets. This branch of the Federal Reserve is responsible for determining monetary policy in the United States. This committee meets several times a year just to make decisions regarding interest rates. So these decisions have a significant impact on markets because interest rates affect everything from borrowing costs for consumers and businesses to the value of the dollar. So as investors and traders, we all know that changes in the interest rates can significantly impact stock and bond markets and other markets as well. If there's anything bleeding out from that. In fact, the FOMC decision can often lead to significant market volatility. So in general, if the FOMC decides to cut interest rates, it could stimulate economic growth by making borrowing cheaper for consumers and businesses. This can lead to increased consumer spending, more investment, and overall economic expansion. As a result, stocks may see gains and bond prices may rise. But there are also some downsides to cutting rates, such as inflation and a weaker currency. They don't need to see a need for further stimulus. This could lead to stability in the markets. Could also be a lack of movement or volatility. But more likely in this case, if the FOMC decides to increase rates, it could lead to higher borrowing costs, which could slow down economic growth and potentially lead to a decline in the market. So today we're expecting and anticipating 25 basis point hike or increase. So raising interest rates by 0.25%. So in general, 25 BP hike is seen as a signal that a central bank is tightening its monetary policy, which could have a couple of implications. Higher borrowing costs is one of them. A 25 BP hike can lead to higher borrowing costs for individuals and businesses, which can slow down spending and investment. This can put downward pressure on asset prices such as stocks and real estate. A 25 BP hike can also lead to a boost in bond yields. As investors demand higher returns for government debt, this can make fixed income investments more attractive, put downward pressure on equity markets. If a 25 BP hike leads to higher borrowing costs and slower economic growth, investors may become less optimistic about the traditional financial markets, such as stocks and bonds. Then they might actually look for alternative investment options. So in this scenario, some investors may consider putting their money into cryptos, which are often seen as the hedge against traditional financial markets. So while a 25 BP hike may not directly impact the crypto markets, its impact on the financial markets and the broader landscape could indirectly affect the sentiment and investment behavior of crypto in particular. So we could potentially lead to some changes in demand and prices of the cryptocurrencies. Boris, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with everything you said regarding the impact of the FOMC decision on not just the equity markets, but the crypto markets, in which, the crypto markets are very highly correlated to what happens in the equity market. So I'm really excited what's going to happen. We have about 8 minutes left until the rate decision, and then I'm also excited for the actual press conference. I'm sure Powell is going to talk about what happened with First Republic Bank. So I think there's going to be a lot of volatility in 8 minutes when the actual decision comes out, and then also at 2:30 during the press conference. So, me, Eric, and Dylan are here to bring you all the latest coverage of what happens to the price action. And yeah, guys, just stay tuned, and we'll keep you ahead of the curve.
Awesome. Yeah. So essentially, what we're looking at right now, there is around about 7 minutes until the rate comes out. And I will just discuss the market currently, what I'm looking at. And this is the crucial level. So I've identified it on the chart. This level at around about 28,700, 28,800. Okay. So if you look to the left, this has been the level that price could not break above. Okay. So what needs to happen is obviously the rate hike is we're gonna see a lot of pump and dump, but we'll have to wait and see what actually Powell says and the tone that he says it, and that's what's going to actually lead the market within the discussion. So that's only going to happen after the rate hike has been discussed. But we might see a test of this trend line at around about 29,300, and then we could see a potential dump back down to this crucial level. So I am expecting a pump and then a dump. But I mean, obviously, trading during these times you shouldn't be doing that. But it's very important to see what Powell says after the actual rate comes out. Any thoughts with on the chart, Boris?
But I'm looking at the daily chart right now, and right now it just seems to be stuck in a range.
Yeah.
So, I have the bottom range coming in around 27,000 or so, and then the upper range around 30.5K. So right now, like, we're pretty much stuck in the middle. I don't think there's anything to do here in terms of trading. Just wait for the actual decision, and then just wait for the price actions to play out. Um, yeah, I mean, I'm positionless right now, and I'll just await what happens during the price action of the actual rate decision, and then when the press conference happens at 2:30. Have you guys had experience trading like during the FOMC meeting?
Well, I'll go off. I don't really trade FOMC. I mean, I'd rather wait, afterwards, because we normally see even like 2% pumps and then a 2% dump within a couple minutes. So for me, you just need to wait until what actually happens, and then we'll understand where the direction is going. So and yourself, Eric?
There's an old adage in trading called "buy the rumor, sell the news." If you guys know that, before the FOMC decision, we saw prices across BTC and Ethereum kind of go up. I think BTC hit 28.7. Right now it's at 28.6. So as we get closer to the decision, I'm kind of anticipating a little drop, as you guys might have seen, I've said too. So I think the narrative's still very much range bound here. The tightening of the price action indicates that there's no particular person that's being favored here, the buyer or the seller. So pretty much a coin toss in my opinion. But in this situation, it's very important to see how we react. And it does seem like we're seeing some sell-off right now, as you guys can see. So the best thing to do is just to lean on the best support and resistance zones that you can identify.
Yeah, I mean, for me, at the moment, we would have to look at the 1 hour chart. Okay, so you can see I'm looking at a potential dump back down to this area around about 27K. I think that's what Boris said. That would be the area that we will see a potential buy orders. I would assume that there's a lot of buy orders sitting at the zone, but currently, this is the area that is getting rejected, and I would expect price to come back down to this area. I don't expect price to break it just yet, but if it does, then we can obviously see lower lows back to around 26,500. But I mean, I'm expecting initially just a pump and then a dump, but more to the downside. I would take the stance. And yourself, Boris?
Yeah, I pretty much have my support sitting around 27.5. So if it does go back to that level, I might want to be a buyer there.
Yeah.
But just looking at the overall structure on the daily, it seems like we might be in the process of forming a lower high on the daily chart. So the overall structure looks a bit more bearish to me. But you never know what to expect with these meetings. So we'll see what happens. I'm ready for anything that comes out of Jerome Powell's mouth. So we'll see if he decides to raise rates by 25 basis points, or I don't know if there's a surprise. If perhaps he'll raise it by 50, or he'll actually do a rate cut, which I don't think will happen. But what do you guys think would happen if there's like a surprise announcement of like a very high rate hike, or on the other hand, a lower rate hike?
I think it depends. There's a concept in crypto called decoupling. Essentially, it's the idea that price movements of different cryptos may become less correlated of time in regards to the U.S. stock market or other equity markets. So if people do see that the U.S. stock market is becoming less attractive to invest in, the decoupling would occur, and such that BTC and other assets as such could see a rise in prices as well. So that could happen, and I've seen it many times already.
Yeah.
Yeah, guys, we got like I think less than
Yeah,
1
just
minute to go
move-
now until the decision.
I think I'll put on the 15-second
yeah.
chart, because this is what.
Yeah, it's gonna be crazy.
Yeah, so guys, this is essentially you can actually track the Bitcoin price in seconds. So I'm gonna keep it on the 15-second chart, because I want to see what happens here. You're gonna see a large.
Yeah, it's gonna be some big fireworks.
Yeah, it's gonna be crazy. So let's see what happens. Yeah, less than a minute. So let's see what happens. Yeah. And also on the right hand side, these are all the orders that are coming in, and you can see that there's a large quantity of different types of orders on different types of exchanges. So it's a very nice chart to use. So we do have around about 10 seconds or so, and we're going to see quite a bit of volume here. Maybe a bit longer. Oh, there we go. Let's see what happens.
Yeah.
It's also important to keep in mind to anyone who is trading cryptos is that in very high volatility environments, the spread, especially on the exchange that you're trading in, the spread between the bid and the ask, it could be quite wide. So it's very important to, well, we're seeing a lot of buying come in right now.
Yeah.
All right.
There it is.
All right. What do you guys have the rate announcement?
Yeah,
I'm trying to load my Bloomberg terminal.
So let's see what happened. Yeah, so it looks like it was 0.25. I just on Twitter.
All right, so as expected.
Yeah, as expected. Okay.
All right, yeah. So
right back down.
Yeah, it's very typical. You get like some kind of initial reaction, then it just goes right back down. So now it's going to be interesting to see what happens during the press conference, because he's going to do some commentary on like leading guidance and projections for the next few months. So it's going to be very interesting to see what actually happens in another 30 minutes. But for right now, I think it looks like price is going to stay range bound, just looking at the 5-minute chart.
Definitely range bound for now. We're not anywhere near, I think, the bottom of this price range or the top.
Yeah.
The top was very respected, so something to keep in mind. I think another thing to take a look at is the altcoin market. Typically, when there's a lot of volatility that comes in, people will liquidate their altcoin holdings, small cap tokens, in favor of putting it back into cash, or even putting it into BTC and ETH if there is high upward volatility. But in this case, I think it's safe to say that people are going to unload their tokens.
Yeah, I mean, I think this resistance that we drew earlier, this 28,800, is definitely serving its purpose for resistance. So like, if it breaks the zone, we may see a test of this trend line. But the thing is, I would never place an order based on this. It's just for now, it is
Yeah.
acting as a crucial resistance.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys are noticing, but it seems like Ethereum is kind of going against the grain. It's kind of pumping right now against Bitcoin.
Let's have a look at Ethereum.
Yeah, it's making an interesting move right now.
Yeah, also the dollar. Interesting to look at the dollar here before I go to Ethereum.
Oh yeah.
It's actually starting to break its lows.
Oh, that's not well. That's great for crypto.
Yeah,
the dollar.
so this is
goes
actually
down.
very, very important. So we had this support at 101.083. So the dollar is actually losing a bit of strength here. So that's obviously, bullish in a way, but I mean, we would have to wait until what Powell says, because that's
Yeah.
essentially what's going to drive the market. So Ethereum, you're
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Ethereum is actually pumping compared to Bitcoin.
Mhm.
Yeah,
We
so
also got Matic. Matic
Okay.
is pumping as well, but we can take a look at that later, I guess.
yeah. So I mean, for Ethereum, what I'm looking at here, we did have that 4-hour resistance at 1875, and the previous 1-hour candle couldn't close above it, but at the moment, it almost tested that 1900 area, which is quite strange because Bitcoin didn't really move as much as I thought it would compared to, yeah, I think the altcoins are definitely taking a bit more strength compared to Bitcoin.
Definitely.
Yeah, I'm also looking. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh yeah, I'm looking at the Nasdaq 100 and had a crazy wick right now. If you look at the
Let's take a look.
the 1 minute chart, yeah, pretty much did exactly what Bitcoin did. Had a pump and then a dump, and now it's just kind of like going back to the median range where it's been trading.
Oh yeah, over here.
But it did have like quite a nice move in just that 1 minute. So I think, I think the market is just gonna wait what Powell has to say at 2:30.
Yeah, exactly. I think we would have to wait for that to see what he says because, I mean, at the moment you can't really trade this. I mean, looking at the 15-minute on the Nasdaq, you can see that obviously that 1 minute pump and then dump straight away.
Yeah, pretty much just like swept the highs and then
Yeah.
pretty much went back to the low. So no trade for me there.
Yeah. So for this 15-minute candle, let's see how it ends up closing.
Yeah.
If it's a big doji, then perhaps a reversal is intact. So let's see.
It's interesting to see Ethereum actually outperforming Bitcoin. Yeah.
Yeah. Can you plot the chart of Ethereum against Bitcoin? It'll be
Yeah,
interesting
sure.
to see the ETH to BTC pairing.
What's happening here? Yeah, I'm sure this is the chart here. Yeah, it looks like obviously ETH is on the daily chart. I mean, I can't.
I think because you have it plotted from the crypto cap. If you plot ETH BTC on like Binance,
Yeah.
it'll give you can go down to the lower time frames.
Let me check. Oh yeah, we go.
Yeah, that one. There you go.
Yeah, here we go. So let's take a look at the 15. Yeah, you can actually see.
Yeah, look at that.
That's interesting. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's breaking out against Bitcoin for sure.
Yeah.
That's very interesting.
I want to have a look at the altcoin market cap because that may be pumping a bit. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, total 2 is coming up. So I think Bitcoin is losing a bit of dominance compared to the altcoins. But I mean,
Yeah, it's not surprising
Yeah.
because like Bitcoin dominance has been pretty much going up for the past 2 months. So
Yeah.
I was expecting like some kind of more money flowing from Bitcoin into the alts, into Ethereum and the other other tokens.
I mean, also like for Bitcoin, for the dominance, the range high was already set in over here, and it almost retested that high again. So I'm expecting price to come back down to at least test that 47% level, 47.84. But yeah, you can see in the 15 minutes, it doesn't really know what to do. But yeah,
Are there any like active positions you guys have right now? Any like swing positions maybe?
personally, I don't have any positions.
Me as well. Yeah.
And you, Boris?
I actually have quite a lot of positions, but they're not. They're more like swing positions that I've
Okay.
had for a while. I'm mostly like I'm pretty weighted to the short side right now,
Okay.
and I think I like where I stand right now because there's really not much movement to the upside apart from Ethereum and Matic. But yeah, I have last night I put on a short on BNB, which is actually pumping a bit right now. So, but not by much. My position is still good. And then I'm trying to think what else I have. I went long on Tron. I think Tron is showing some nice patterns. Yeah, I don't know if you want to pull up the TRX chart, but
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, on the daily.
Let's have a look. Someone in the chat, Sonia, says, I am long. Is it safe?
She's long on.
It depends on where you're long from.
Yeah, literally, it depends on
Right?
where you long from.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you long from 28,500, we would need to see a break of that 28,700 zone. But personally, I don't think it is safe, to be honest. Yeah, let's take a look at TRX.
This is Tron, right?
Yeah, Tron.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can put up the daily because that's
Daily, yeah, sure.
Not very
Okay.
pretty. Maybe a potential for an up move.
yeah. But I basically went long on TRX like a couple of days ago because
Okay.
if you just plot out like a resistance level at about
Okay.
where
6-7.
you're looking at right now.
Yeah.
It kind of like broke the resistance with some good volume and momentum and volatility.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm currently long on TRX. I'm just waiting to see if it pumps a bit more. I think it could perhaps even touch the highs from February. So that's one of the outperformers of the market this
Okay.
week. But I'm kind of like on everything else, I'm pretty much bearish.
Yeah, there's also a trend line on the 1 hour here that is holding up for TRX.
Yeah.
So I mean, as
Yeah,
long as
and then if
it
you-
holds this
yeah.
level.
And then if you even look at the TRX versus BTC pairing, it looks pretty impressive, or like somewhat bullish.
Let's have a look. Yeah, how did everyone in the chat? If you guys have any questions for Boris or Eric, just let us know in the chat, and I'll tell them if there's anything that you want to go over. And also, if there's any coins that you guys are trading, I wouldn't suggest trading during this time. But if let's just say you are, we can go over them and obviously try to help you out if you're in any positions. But I mean, obviously, if you're in swing positions, it wouldn't matter. This is just like a volatility for what's happening in today. So yeah, this is Tron versus BTC. Let's have a look. Yeah, I mean Tron's obviously outperforming Bitcoin.
Yeah. Yes, that's one of the reasons I went long earlier this week. This is one of my current swing positions, so I'm
Okay.
hoping for a bit more upside here on Tron. And I think so far it looks good. So
Yeah, I agree.
pretty confident it's going to be a winning trade for me.
Yeah, I mean this is where the area I'll be looking at, like around about here. That's the nearest support. I mean, it could reach there, and then we could see Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at.
Yeah, 250 satoshis is definitely a support resistance zone, so definitely worth considering.
Yeah, exactly. Someone said in the chat, "What is your ETH strong resistance?" So we'll have a look at that now for you.
Yeah, let's take a look at ETH together.
Yeah, let's go back to ETH. Where's my ETH? It's in here. Okay, yeah. So for ETH, at the moment, right, the resistance is at 1875, but the next level that I'll be looking at would probably be, we might actually see ETH tap into these zones over here at 1910.
1.9, 1.92K, definitely.
I mean, that's something I'm looking at. So I'll draw down on the chart so you guys can see it. It will be around about this level here is a potential area that ETH could actually tap into within the next couple minutes or the next half an hour. So the thing is, the rates have come out, but I mean that's just the beginning of it, right? Powell is going to be speaking in the next 15 minutes, and that's what's going to really decide what's going to happen in the market, because obviously what he says is going to have a big impact on the monetary policy and all the dollar, the crypto market within the next 6 months. So that is something that we will let you guys know. And I'll
Yeah, I think maybe I could actually listen to the press conference, and
yeah.
I'll bring you guys all the big things that he says regarding further interest rate hikes or like further economic rate decisions. So I don't know, maybe in like 15 minutes or so, I can just listen to the press conference while you guys talk about the markets, and I'll bring you actual live coverage of what is coming out of Jerome Powell's mouth.
Okay, awesome.
I think for this chart in ETH, let's say,
I mean, it does look
You
like a
are
potential long.
yeah, if you were flat, what kind of entry would you be looking for in this scenario? For me, I'd be a bit more patient, waiting for a bit of a retracement
Yeah.
to shake out weak hands, maybe into 1870, 1860 even. But for the ultimate target of maybe 1.9K to 2K, I was fairly bullish on Ethereum, especially for the past 2 weeks. But
Okay.
depending on this decision, things could change very drastically. So it's always a good idea to keep risk reward in mind.
Yeah.
And to protect your capital. Yeah.
I mean, personally, when I look at this chart, we do like this resistance at 1875. So someone asked, should I long ETH now? So personally, I would wait for this 30-minute closure, but obviously, the thing is, waiting for this closure is when Powell's gonna start speaking. So, obviously, it's gonna be like hard to say what's gonna happen. But if Powell wasn't gonna speak, I would actually long back up to like 1918, just based on the break of this resistance here.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm actually looking at the NASDAQ right now, and it looks like it's really starting to make a nice move upwards along with Ethereum. I think it's actually going to try to take out the high it did during the rate announcement. If you look at the 1-minute chart on Ethereum, things are really starting to heat up right now.
Yeah, I mean, Ethereum does look
What are your
like
thoughts?
Ethereum does look like if it's already broken this high over
Look at
here.
that.
Yeah, I mean,
So,
it
yeah.
does look like it could tap into that 1918 zone within the next couple of minutes. I want to take a look at the NASDAQ, what you were saying there.
Yeah, it's pretty much following what the NASDAQ is doing.
Yeah, and Bitcoin's still not really doing much.
Yeah, Bitcoin's kind of boring here.
It's weird. Normally you see Bitcoin, like I was expecting Bitcoin to like pump back up to, like 29,400, like instantly, and then come back down. But I mean, there's still a bit of time here. I'm waiting for that Powell speech. Yeah, the NASDAQ.
What do you guys think? Do you guys have any expectations of what he's going to say, perhaps?
I don't think anything will be that much different. We have to consider a couple of things. We have to consider the U.S. is going to increase its debt ceiling. There's a high risk of default on that front, according to some news sources I've read. That's definitely a discussion worth considering. But going back to the dollar, the weakening dollar, that's definitely something that's also a red flag in my opinion. It also could be a reason why we're seeing a decoupling right now for Ethereum and Bitcoin. I think Ethereum in this case has more relative strength compared to BTC.
Yeah.
So to the person earlier who said, maybe can I buy ETH here? Stick to your trading plan. Stick to your setup. And I wouldn't just buy based off emotions or whatever I'm thinking. Rather, you need to trade what you see. So for the past 30 minutes, a buyer or buyers have been intact for quite some time. As I said, the buy the rumor, sell the news things is definitely something to consider as well.
Yeah, exactly.
So don't be so easily fooled into buying when we're close to a resistance level. really have to be patient for the resistance that you are watching to clear. And that could be different depending on your time horizon. So those are just my 2 cents on that particular token name for ETH.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, 100%, guys. Just like stick to your trading plan. You know, each of our styles are very different. I know Dylan's more of a like short-term trader, and I like to trade the longer-term time frames. And everybody has their own style and their own individual unique strategy. So just trade your plan, follow your strategy, follow your rules, and don't like deviate from your rules. And just that's the way to success. Just stick to your plan, and yeah, just follow your gut. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, for me, like, I wouldn't open any positions now just based on, like, especially for Bitcoin. I can't believe how boring it is compared to Ethereum. I mean, Ethereum is pumped since the rate. It's pumped around about, let's actually measure this. Compared to Bitcoin, it's pumped almost 1.7%. Bitcoin literally is where it left off since the rate decision. So it just shows you that the altcoins are obviously gaining a bit more momentum here. And like the next level for ETH is definitely this 1918 zone. I would expect price to actually wick into that zone within the next couple minutes here. The next 10 minutes is what's going to define us here in terms of, well, obviously when he starts speaking, but I think we could tap into that 1918 zone.
Yeah. By the way, while we're waiting, Dylan, can you pull up the chart of the regional banking sector versus Bitcoin? So
Yeah,
Bitcoin
sure.
versus
There we go.
KRE. Oh yeah, there you go. Yeah, I'd like to like talk about this for a couple minutes. I think it's a very
Yeah, go for
interesting
it.
chart, especially if you go on the daily. So basically, if you guys use TradingView, you can basically plot the valuations of different assets against each other. And if you look at Bitcoin against the KRE ETF, which is the regional banking ETF, you can see that from when the banking crisis started in early March up until now, Bitcoin is actually up over 70% against the regional banking sector, which is just huge. So to me, that just tells me that money is flowing out of the banking sector. It's flowing into Bitcoin. And I mean, as we're speaking, the dollar is falling. So to me, this is like a big signal that we're seeing some bifurcation in the markets, and perhaps we're finally seeing the narrative play out of money flowing from the corrupt banking system into a sound money system like Bitcoin and Ethereum. So I would just say, this is not financial advice, but maybe get your money out of your banks and put it into Bitcoin, put it into Ethereum, put it into some hard assets like commodities, like gold, Bitcoin, maybe even oil,
Yeah.
Well, what do you guys think?
Yeah, based on the BTC USD KRE chart, it does still look quite nice. I think there's still a lot of upside to go. Maybe even touching that top of the range there at 800 to 900. So for the time being, yeah, I definitely think a buy in BTC, Ethereum, other crypto assets that you choose, definitely compared to US stocks, I think is much more attractive.
Yeah, I
Just
agree.
based off, the recent unfolding of what happened to First Republic Bank, SVB. These are all very significant events that have happened in the past year. So,
Yeah.
with that said, people are looking for other opportunities to invest. There's still a lot of money on the sidelines, so I
Yeah.
think crypto still is here to stay.
And I don't think this is First Republic. I don't think it's the last bank that's going to fail. I think there's going to be more bank failures. And I don't think your money is safe in any bank. Even like, for example, I have my account with TD Bank, and I recently just withdrew a lot of money and put it into Bitcoin because I think I'd rather have my money in Bitcoin than having it sit in cash with TD Bank or Bank of America or all these other big banks. But that's just me. Might be a bit crazy.
So I've just put up the crypto bubble chart. So essentially, guys, has pretty much all the coins that are within like the top 100 market cap. And what you can do is you can kind of select it by the hour, the day, the week, the month, and it'll give you the return of each of the coins. So if you look at the 15-minute chart, you can see that it is all currently in the green. Let's take a look at the lower time frames though, the 5 minutes. 5 minute looks like Pepe is still outperforming the market. The meme coins are always doing better than the normal coin. So
Yeah, the Pepe. Oh, that's funny.
yeah.
That new coin.
The one person, I think he invests $250 and he made over like $2 million just from Pepe
Oh wow.
within 1 week. So it just shows you though, like these coins that are coming out, you can make a lot of money with them with such little money. And there's a lot of different websites you can actually do to actually track those coins that are coming out, because a lot of them are pump and dumps. But if you catch the right one, you can make a lot of money from that. So the one guy, Michael K, says neutral decision as the market expected, but overall market is a bit concerned about the earnings and recession. That's why yesterday's US share market took a dive. How would that impact crypto market in the next 6 months? Now it's not about liquidity issues, it's about the overall business environment. What are you guys' thoughts on that?
I was just taking a look at that comment, reading it a bit.
Yeah. I mean, personally, we would have to wait until Powell actually speaks. That's what I would say, because what his tone is kind of what's going to define the market. Obviously, this 0.25 was already printed in. We already knew that this was going to happen. So I think that's kind of why we're not really seeing as much of a move that we should have. But I think we would have to wait until Powell actually speaks, because that's kind of what's going to define the next 6 months. So we'll keep you updated on what he says. But that's a very good question. And yeah, we will let you know what we think about that.
Yeah, I'm just reading Michael's comment right now.
Yeah.
And yeah, I agree with you, Dylan. We just gotta wait for the actual press conference, because Powell's probably gonna talk about further likelihood of rate hikes or even rate decreases. So that's really what is going to drive the prices of equities and crypto in the future. So I'm just waiting for him to start speaking. We only have 5 minutes left till the press conference starts. So I think
that's right.
there's going to be even more volatility.
Just keep on waiting, and make sure you like the video and also subscribe to the channel, because I will be posting daily updates on this channel and also educational content about crypto investing. Also airdrops, different types of crypto investing, not only futures trading, it will also be long-term holdings and all of that. So yeah, make sure you guys subscribe to this channel. And we only have 5 more minutes until we actually get that Powell speech. So yeah, stay tuned for that. But yeah, it looks like, I mean, Bitcoin is holding up this level. It has retested it multiple times, so it hasn't done much, to be honest.
How's Ethereum doing? Is it still
yeah, let's take a look. So look at the Nasdaq. Actually, the Nasdaq's doing quite well.
Nice, look at that. Yeah, nice.
That's interesting.
Into the resistance. Let's see.
Yeah, I mean that's where I have that level. Yeah. I mean the
oh yeah, the Nasdaq is up almost 1% now. That's pretty interesting.
That's interesting. Yeah.
And yeah, the SPY's up about 0.5%.
Okay.
As well.
Yeah, I mean Ethereum is still holding this support here.
I think for Ethereum in particular, it's always been like a leading indicator of how altcoins are going to move in the future.
Yeah.
I think the fact that we're not seeing any significant sell-off in Ethereum is a pretty good sign to me that there's definitely more, how do I say it, confidence within the crypto community, especially for these altcoins too. So we could see some really good positive movements coming out if things are going to continue in this upward direction. People will tend to play altcoins at the very end. So it all depends on how BTC, ETH are performing.
Yeah.
ETH more in particular for altcoins.
Yeah, I agree. I think overall for Ethereum, like if you're looking like at the long term, like 5 years time, I think it's going to outperform Bitcoin. Obviously not outperform in terms of overtake Bitcoin in price, but I think it's going to outperform in terms of percentage. It just has way more scalability. And I just think that it is a better coin to invest in. Obviously, Bitcoin is just the first coin, and everyone has their money in it. But in terms of like actual Web3 and that type of
DeFi
solution,
protocols,
DeFi,
yeah.
yeah, exactly. I do think that Ethereum is the one to hold. But yeah, it looks like, I mean, we have 3 minutes left until the speech, so I think we're gonna see a lot more volume here, guys. This is not over, I don't think.
Yeah, definitely not yet.
Yeah, it's
really. Yeah, I've been watching the FOMC meetings ever since I started trading full time. So I've watched like probably 20 of them at this point, and really the big moves happened during Powell's speech and afterwards into the market close. So this is just initial reaction. So
Yeah.
I'd really watch Powell's speech and all the little nuances he says in terms of further interest rate hikes or decreases. So stay tuned for that.
Something to keep in mind for anybody who's out there trading too, it's that during our last FOMC, we saw a pretty big dump on the
Yeah.
intraday for BTC and Ethereum.
Let's actually take a look
But
at that.
in the long term, we actually saw a rally come out of that. So I think it's really important to zoom out into the longer term timeframes to identify where people are going to buy and where they're going to sell to. At the end of the day, that's what we're doing here. We're trading value based off what buyers and sellers agree on. So if you do see a sell off into a pretty good area where people are going to buy, take that trade. But as long as the risk reward makes sense and the stop loss is already considered too.
Yeah, that's very good advice, actually.
You got 1 minute to go.
Let's see what
So
happens.
normally when Powell starts speaking, is there like a dump or a pump, or is it when he starts actually like his tone?
Yeah, it really depends on his tone.
Yeah, it is.
What? Because he's not going to directly tell you like, oh, next time we're going to drop rates or raise rates by a certain percentage.
Yeah.
It's kind of like you got to really like try to like figure out what read between the lines of what he's saying.
Exactly.
So yeah.
But at the same time, it's also important to pay very close attention to the book pressure too. You have to consider the bid and asks and how who's reacting, right? So let's say someone wants to really unload all their tokens. You're going to see large offers stacked, trying to suppress price and just try to spook people and from buying it. And so you can probably tell based off the price action and the order book if something is going to go up or down. In the case of the FOMC, last time I did see a very small pop, but that could have lured in people, but then big flash down. Something to keep in mind. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the last FOMC meeting there was a 8% drop over I think 2 hours throughout his whole speech, and then it actually recovered a couple hours after that. So yeah, I think that's kind of what we might see here. So let's see.
All right, it's 2:30. Let's see.
Yeah, he's taking the podium right now. Apparently,
he's in. Yeah, so the 15-second chart's obviously at support as well. Yeah, the one guy said last one was crazy. Wick up, wick down, take all liquidity. It's going to be interesting. Yeah, so I mean, essentially we're thinking the same thing's going to happen here. We might see a wick up and wick down, but overall we would have to see a break of this resistance here at 28.
As you guys can see here, a little bit of selling probably to test 28.3, 28.4. Whoever chased, into the buying at around 28.6 is probably hurting a bit right now, right?
Yeah,
so
exactly.
This is what we're saying, right? You have to really keep in mind of the longer term time horizons and to see where it's a good entry for you and if the setup is appropriate or not. Yeah. So as the news comes out, maybe there'll be more selling. But I mean, as expected, right? The market probably would have already digested it before the speech even came out. So let's see.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's on the podium right now. So far, what I'm reading is that he's strongly committed to bringing down inflation to 2%, which is He's been saying that forever, which is not happening. Inflation is like through the roof right now. It's a
Yeah.
complete joke. Whatever comes out of his mouth. So honestly, I don't even trust what he says. I'll just watch the charts and make my decisions from there. I don't know what you guys feel about this.
Yeah, honestly, also don't like anything he says. But yeah, I mean, it looks like there was a bit of selling pressure, but I mean, there's a lot of
Yeah.
buy orders coming in. Yeah.
Yeah, some good buying coming right now.
Yeah.
Yep. I think right now it's still very much range bound. Nothing really crazy yet.
Yeah.
Ethereum's still holding up pretty well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
nice.
very interesting.
Yeah, I might go long after the end of the stream if it holds up like this. I like the way it looks, even on
Yeah.
the like 4-hour chart.
Yeah, this is interesting. Even like the 15 minutes still looks good, yeah, and the 30 minutes.
Can we take a look at the 4-hour?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
So
I like the way it looks.
very
As
much in
well.
the chart. A potential entry, as I said previously, a dip to maybe 1870, just to catch the range bound play
Yeah,
into 1920 and above. So
100%.
Yeah, honestly,
that
even
is a
just
possible trade.
even if Ethereum closes like this on the 4-hour, I would probably even target the next level you have lined
Yeah.
out. And yeah, I would just market enter if it closes like this on the 4-hour. That's just my trading style, like like a very like short scalp to the long side.
Yeah.
We gotta wait for the candle to close. So that's not gonna be until 4 o'clock Eastern. So that's another hour and a half or so.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, this 1875 level, or 1876, it would have to close above there on the 4-hour for me to actually take a long position. Because I
Yeah.
mean, it's taken out this wick over here, taken out this previous wick, and these wicks over here. So, it does look like price can definitely come up to that 1922 area, like Eric was saying earlier. Yeah. So I might actually, well, if this closes above like this within in an hour and a half, I will actually take a long position.
So the moment you close your long position, Dylan, I'm gonna take a short. Yeah, so let's see what happens.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm actually looking at Ethereum with my like indicator setup. So if it closes like this, it'll close above the 55 exponential moving average, which is like a very key moving average I like to look at on those time frames. So
Ooh,
if
yeah,
it
some
does close
volume.
above the previous,
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
that's exactly what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah, it
my
is.
God.
Yeah.
well, never mind what I just said. I don't know. He must have said Powell must have said something to spook the market, right?
yep. See, Ethereum is pulling back. I do think that 1860 level is pretty attractive to me as a buy zone. Definitely worth considering. Let's see, 1850, 1860 as a short-term pivot.
Yeah, exactly.
So Powell right now, he's talking about the housing market. He's talking about the last PCE numbers, that the PCE is like higher than expected. So he's pretty hawkish so far.
Okay.
So that's probably what's might be spooking the markets a bit right now.
Yeah, let's take a look at the Nasdaq. Or Nasdaq also. Oh, the 15-minute candle. That's interesting. Yeah, it looks like we're seeing. If you look at this chart over here, more downside here.
Yeah, so yeah, it seems like so far he's still he's very insistent on keeping interest rates, like at least keeping the interest rate hikes ongoing for the meantime.
Yeah.
So he's definitely not having a tone where he's talking about like a decrease in rates. So that's probably what's spooking the markets at this current moment. But we'll see what else he says. He's still going to be on the podium until like 3 o'clock Eastern. Oh yeah, look at that.
Yeah, here it is.
It's really dumping now. Here you go. Maybe I might go even short right now, so I can get broke the lower time frame range. Yeah, yeah, everything's flushing now.
Yeah, it looks like it.
It looks. Yeah, the Ethereum setup doesn't look as good as
Yeah,
it did 5 minutes ago.
let's take a look. No, I mean it is still an hour and 20 minutes here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I wouldn't say Ethereum is completely bearish yet. Not yet. Maybe soon, but not yet. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, the S&P 500 is in the negatives now.
Yeah.
The Nasdaq is barely holding on in the green. So far, not a good reaction to whatever is coming out of Jerome Powell's mouth.
Yeah, yeah, BTC is dumping. Yeah, I mean this is the support. Like this level today, this 28,700. If you just shorted at this level the whole day, you'd have just
basically what Powell just said. He said they're going to take a very data dependent approach to further interest rate decisions. So I don't know what that means. So he didn't exactly specify whether they'll be pausing rates or continue increasing them. He said we'll just keep a data dependent approach, which is very unusual language from him from past FOMC meetings. So that's interesting.
Yeah, I think you kind of have to read between the lines there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's still like for Ethereum, it still looks good, like we were saying earlier. Which is obviously this is manipulation, so you can't really do anything.
Yeah, that's what we were saying about the volatility. It's just like 5 minutes ago, Ethereum was looking good. Then 2 minutes ago, it wasn't looking so good. Now it's looking good again. Yeah. So that's why I don't really put on any positions during these meetings, because you're just gonna get like wiped out either way.
So I'm just gonna put this here so people can see like what we're thinking. So essentially, we're waiting like what most of us, like us three, are all waiting for is we'll take some long positions above 1876 if the 4-hour candle actually closes above there. But if the 4-hour candle doesn't close above there, well then it's probably going to get rejected from the zone. Okay, so it's important when you're actually trading, right? You need to wait for the candle closes, regardless on what time frame you're on. But obviously, the higher the time frame, more reliable it is in terms of taking a position. So on the 4-hour candle, you would need to wait for price to actually close above this level for you to take a position. So if it does close above here, then you could target the highs at like 1922.
It does seem like the order book for Ethereum right now is flashing pretty crazily, actually. Does seem like buyers coming out.
Yeah, what's going on?
Yeah. That's
the order flow.
Yeah. You can watch this the whole day.
Yeah. So that dip was a good support zone. So that dip into 1867, I didn't even get to reach my price, honestly. Wow, 1890 now.
No, but yeah, good call, Eric. That was really good.
Yeah, but I didn't get it. Yeah, just devil's advocate is easier.
Yeah. But so, man, there's so many opportunities in this market. So if you miss one opportunity, is like
absolutely. Yeah. Don't feel like just because you missed this train doesn't mean that there's always another one to come. So the most important thing is capital preservation.
Exactly. Yeah, it looks like the market's starting. Even the Nasdaq is going to test these highs. Let's have a look here.
I'm very curious to see how this daily candle is going to close for Ethereum. Yeah, let's say we get more pump. If we clear above 1940 on the day, I think that's a very bullish sign. But there's also a possibility that we could face a short-term resistance into that level too. Yeah. So it's going to be very important to see how we react. I think 2000 still is lingering up there. To think that we're just going to break through it in just one day is maybe not idealistic, right? It's a bit idealistic. It's like too far-fetched. So you have to react. You have to be nimble.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, it's looking, to be honest, it's actually looking quite bullish, yeah. Even this.
Yeah, I'm trying to look at so many things right now. I'm looking at the markets and I'm like trying to. I have like closed captions on Jerome Powell's speech. I'm trying to have like I'm gonna have like multiple like data sources coming in, so
Yeah.
it's hard for me to like look at the charts and then interpret what Powell is saying and then do the stream. But no, that's just cool.
No,
I
it's all
like
good,
the
yeah.
volatility and the action we're seeing.
But Bitcoin's still not like doing much compared to any of the
Yeah, it's
altcoins.
not really doing anything compared to like the Nasdaq and Ethereum. It's just kind of range bound.
Yeah, it's very interesting. So
So
someone
Bitcoin back
said,
down again.
what is he saying,
Oh, yeah,
Powell?
right.
Do you have any thoughts on that, Boris? Like,
Yeah, so he was talking about something about the real estate market and that the consumer the PCE index is higher than expected, which is another measure of inflation. So far from like I only saw like little clips of what he was saying while I'm doing the stream, but he seemed very very streamlined on keeping the interest rate hikes going, and so it's very hawkish so far. But then I don't know, the press conference is still not finished, so
yeah.
Anyway, we can look at 𝗕𝗘𝗪 because now it's down
Yeah.
3%.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
what happened?
Let's take a look. Let's take a look at that. Yeah.
I think I'm not too sure if it's on trading.
Yeah,
Let me take a look there.
it was just like leading the market like 20 minutes ago.
Yeah, Pepe is not. I don't know. I don't think this is it. No. Oh, no, it is.
Yes, like the main talking points from what Powell said is that the Federal Reserve could continue hiking if the economic data points the central bank in that direction. So that I think that's what initially spooked the market when he started talking. And then he said, we are prepared to do more if greater monetary policy restraint is warranted. And then he later added that a decision on a pause will not be made today, but said that the change in the statement language around future policy firming was meaningful. So just very, wishy-washy language. You can't get a straight answer out of him. And that's why I like to utilize technical analysis to make my trades, because if you listen to what the central bankers say, I think you're gonna have a very tough time making any sound trading or investment decisions.
Yeah. There's a lot of buy orders coming in now.
This is very difficult to trade just based off what I'm looking.
Yeah,
You're gonna sit through all these swings like.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Yeah,
use
that's why.
time
Yeah,
zones.
I usually just sit back on the sidelines during this and just watch it play out.
It's very smart. Yeah, let them let the dust settle, and then you figure out where.
But but the people who trade this are very brave, and I know some people that do actually trade throughout this these press conferences. So kudos to them.
Yeah.
I'd rather just chill out and like talk with you guys about the markets.
Should we actually look at I do want to take a look at gold. I used to trade gold.
Oh yeah, that would be interesting.
Okay.
I would assume since the dollar is down, gold is up as well as
Yeah.
silver. Let's see. Oh yeah, it is.
Yeah, gold. Oh, touched 2036.
Oh wow, look at that.
Whoa. Yeah.
Yeah, gold's been doing very well. Yeah. So yeah, longs look valid here for Ethereum actually on the 4-hour closure. We'd have to wait for
Yeah,
that though.
Yeah, it looks good. Still, yeah, I like it.
If you guys have any coins that you want us to go over, just put them in the chat and we can definitely do that. Now, any questions you have for myself, Boris, or Eric, you can also ask in the chat, and then we'll help you out with those. I can't believe how boring Bitcoin's been, to be honest.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm looking at some other altcoins right now, and it looks like, in addition to Ethereum and Matic, like AVAX Avalanche is having a nice move right now, as is Aave. I don't know, maybe you can,
Yeah, let's have a look at
if you
that.
want to pull up a chart of that, looks pretty interesting. What's going on with those? Link as well, actually. That one's moving also.
Okay. Oh,
AVAX.
yeah,
Yeah,
AVAX
look at
looks good.
Very much in similar and in tandem with Ethereum, as we mentioned previously. A strong token like Ethereum could lead the way for other altcoins too. So to see AVAX also pump, it's a great sign.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's interesting because like AVAX and Aave, they're all kind of like decentralized protocols. So it's interesting that like more projects in the DeFi space are kind of like taking the leap forward right now.
Exactly. I mean, personally, what would you guys think the market's doing now? Like, is Powell still speaking, or is it over and the market looks bullish? Would you take that stance, or would you wait for the hourly close?
Yeah, just wait for the hourly close because I think right
Yeah.
now there's the Q&A section
Okay.
session with Powell. So there might be some reporters asking Powell some questions, and depending on his answers, that might move the markets as well. So it's actually like three things that occur during these press conferences. You have the initial rate decision, then Powell's speech, and then the Q&A session, which I think is starting right about now.
Okay.
So yeah, I'll just wait. Honestly, I'll just wait until the U.S. market closure at 4 p.m. Eastern, which is about probably midnight Dubai time. Which what time is it? It's almost it's close to midnight.
Yeah,
By you,
it's
Dylan.
almost 11 p.m. Yeah.
Yeah, and you're still at work in the office, man. That's impressive.
No, I'm not. I'm at home currently.
Well,
Uh,
either way, you're working.
Yeah, I know. Well,
You know.
trading, you don't really
Yeah.
sleep sometimes, so it's all
Yeah, man, neither do I.
good. it's all
I
good.
dream about the crypto markets every night. I don't know
Yeah.
about you guys.
I try not to. I'd rather wake up with some green on my screen. So
Yeah, that's the goal. One guy said,
If you want to sleep at night, just go work at Wendy's or McDonald's.
yeah, take the safe option.
Yeah. But if you want to make money, become a trader, and work for CoinW.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And also, guys, remember there are links in the description. So if you want to join the channels, you can click on that. We do have a Telegram channel where we do teach trading, and we do give signals on that channel. We give market updates. We give pretty much anything that you would like, and it's all free. You don't have to pay for it. And then, yeah, if you have any questions regarding any of that, you can just message any one of us. We're all on the group, or you can just put a message on the group, and we'll get back to you. Yeah, so just make sure you look at all the links in the description and use them respectively. The one person actually asked right now, would love to hear your thoughts on risk management. So do you guys have any thoughts?
good question.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think risk management depends on a lot of things. One, before you enter a trade, is the amount you're willing to risk. So what essentially I like to go to a 3-to-1 risk reward to risk ratio, right? So if I'm going to buy an asset, I'm risking this much. I want to make 3 times as much as I'm risking, and the price point, my stop loss, where I decide to stop out in case market doesn't go in my way, that area where I stop out should be where the pattern falls apart or where my thesis is invalidated. And that's a very important part. And
Yeah.
risk management at the same time, you have to consider how much you're willing to lose. I'm per trade, I wouldn't risk more than maybe 5% just of my entire capital. I think that's good risk management, in my opinion. But ultimately, you want to aim for that 3-to-1 risk reward ratio. Am I making 3 times as much as I'm risking? But this also very much depends on your time frame too.
Yeah, that's a good answer.
Yeah, I mean, to follow up on what Eric is saying, you gotta manage your bankroll when it comes to trading the same way you would perhaps go gambling at a casino. Only risk a small percentage of your capital at a time. So for myself, I only risk about 1 to 2% for any given trade, and like but my max risk per trade is about 5%. So if I'm feeling really confident about a setup, I got to risk 5% of my capital, but that's in some very unusual situations. But for me personally, it depends on every individual. For me, I like to risk 1 to 2% per trade, but it's up to you. You can risk 5%, 10%, 15%, but just know what you're getting into, and know your take profit levels, and know your stop loss, know when to get out. And it's obviously it's a lot easier said than done, but once you've been doing this for a few years, you'll have the discipline to follow your rules and practice good risk management. But I would definitely say, obviously don't go all in, like with 200x leverage on Bitcoin at this point during the FOMC meeting. You'll either become very rich or you'll be homeless. So,
exactly.
Utilize proper risk management and you'll be successful as a trader.
Yeah, also just to follow up on that, if you have set rules like Boris and Eric were saying, and you just stick to them, like let's just say you have a risk to reward of 1:4, okay, and you're risking 5% or 2% per trade, you only need to win 30% of those trades to actually be profitable, because you'll be break even at 20%. But if you stick to that 1:4 ratio, you would actually only need to be 30%. A win rate of 30% to actually be profitable. So just remember, you don't need that 80% win rate or 70% win rate. It doesn't. I mean, trading is hard, but if you stick to certain rules and you actually stick to them, then you'll be fine, and you don't need a high win rate.
Yeah, because an interesting thing is that a lot of people look at your win percentage as a trader, and like you could have a 30% win rate, but actually be very profitable because your risk to reward can be very high.
Exactly.
And on the other hand, you can have someone who's like has a 95% success rate, but they'll end up losing in the end because of the 5% of trades where they lose. They have very poor risk management, and they basically like lose their entire capital.
Yeah.
And it's actually what happened to a very famous hedge fund manager who was an options trader, and he had like a crazy high win rate where he would basically short put options while the stock market was going down. I mean, while it was going up. But then when the COVID crash happened, he basically lost all of the firm's capital, even though he had a very high win rate. So yeah, I'll just focus on your R2R and just always manage your risk no matter what your win percentage is.
Yeah, exactly. So what are your thoughts on Ethereum if we get a 1 hour closure above the zone? Would you look at anything, or would you wait for the 4 hour closure?
Yeah, I like to wait for the market closure at 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
Because that falls in line with, so that's a 4 hour closure, and it also is in line with the US market closing at 4 o'clock. So I'd wait to see what happens towards the end. But if it closes like this, I would probably actually, I will actually be taking a long if it closes right now. But I'll have to wait another hour or so to see how it closes, because really anything can happen in the last hour.
Exactly. Yeah, so if you guys just joined now, we will be looking to long Ethereum at around about 1877 if it closes above the zone on the 4 hour chart, okay? But it's important to wait for the 4 hour closure. So there's still 1 hour and 3 minutes left until that actually closes, because essentially this could just be a wick on the lower time frames. So just wait for that closure, and then it will be good to take a position.
Yeah, we also have a question here from Marcello, who's actually also one of our traders here, and he's talking about how the next year we have the U.S. elections coming up, and how do you guys think like Powell's rate decisions would perhaps influence the U.S. elections, or how maybe the U.S. elections would actually influence his decisions on potential interest rate hikes or decreases? I think that's a very good question.
Political question.
Yeah, well, it's both. It's a political and a financial question. I think they, both work together, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I would say, Powell definitely has an incentive to kind of keeping the U.S. economy afloat by keeping perhaps maybe not raising interest rates that high, because that's going to have a negative impact on the equity markets. So maybe in 2024 he'll start to pivot and start to decrease rates, and that'll perhaps create a boost in the equity markets. Might be good news for President Biden or whoever's in charge at that point.
Yeah, you never know it. Never know at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's see what's happening to Pepe.
Oh,
It's come back a bit.
Yeah, altcoins are doing pretty decently.
Yeah, let's actually look at a few altcoins here. Because Bitcoin, I mean, it's been so boring. It's still at that 28,400 level.
Yeah.
Let's take a look. Any coins that you guys want to look at, I can pull them up. Obviously, Chainlink we were looking at earlier. The Chainlink, wow, candles broke all the highs.
That looks good.
Yeah, the next level for Chainlink is just this level here. At around about 7.216. Even a bit higher.
Yeah. Yes, I'm actually depending on how the 4-hour closes, I might even take a long on a link as well, because I have actually quite a bit of short exposure right now.
Okay.
You guys can actually follow my trades. I'm a copy master for CoinW, so if you search my name on CoinW's copy trading platform, you'll actually see all my active positions. So I might have to hedge some of my short exposure with some longs here, but that's gonna be dependent how the 4-hour close is for Link and Ethereum.
Yeah, so I mean, if we look at the 1-hour closure now, it's closing in 29 seconds. There still could be a potential pullback and close back below the zone within the next 1 hour. So that's why we always say you have to wait for the higher time frame closure, because that will actually give you a good indication if it's going to actually go back to this level. So this could potentially just be a fake out, right? And it comes back, closes back below, and we see new lows. So I mean, we'll have to wait for that 4-hour closure for Chainlink. Same thing goes with Ethereum. But I mean, it is looking on the bullish side at the moment. So I mean, anything.
Yeah, so far it looks like I'm gonna look at I think the Nasdaq and S&P are up right now. So far it seems whatever he said did initiate a bullish reaction in the markets. I do want to actually watch the press conference later and actually break down what he said. But for now, I'm just watching the charts.
Yeah, AVAX closed quite strong in the 1 hour.
Nice.
Yeah. Let's have a look here.
And the dollar is still down over 0.5%, so that's obviously good for the equity and crypto markets and commodities such as gold and silver.
Yeah, let's actually take a look at the dollar.
Yeah, it looks like it's still hanging on to support, but
yeah,
I think it might break that support pretty soon, because I don't think there's a lot of buyers at this level.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Also, I wanted to take a look at the USDT dominance. I haven't really looked at that in a while. Yeah, so this was over here, right? Essentially, it's inversely proportional to crypto, if you guys are wondering. So the USDT dominance, whatever happens here, so if this starts dumping, so I said here, if price breaks this level, then crypto will start to pump, and that's exactly what happened. So you can kind of use this as a confirmation. If it retests a certain resistance zone, then you could look at a potential position for Bitcoin or the altcoin market. So yeah, it's just a confirmation. I use it as confirmation for some of my positions. But it looks like if we look at the lower time frame here, it is coming down a bit. Yeah, it's forming low highs. But yeah, I mean,
Yeah. So some more things that sorry, John, go ahead.
no, go for it.
Yeah, some more things that Powell just said. He was talking about the J.P. Morgan acquisition of First Republic, and he basically said that's an exception. And he basically said it's probably a good policy that we don't want the largest banks doing big acquisitions. He said that is the policy, but this is an exception for a failing bank, and I think it's actually a good outcome for the banking system. So it seems like, if more bank failures come along, it doesn't seem like the Fed or Jerome Powell wants to bail them out necessarily,
Okay,
or that's not on their agenda. So that's interesting.
that's very interesting.
And then in terms of inflation, he said that while inflation has improved over the last year, the fight to tame price pressures is far from over. And obviously, he said inflation remains well above their longer run goal of 2%. It moderated somewhat, but inflation remains high. And yeah, basically, he's still very well set on taming inflation, which means further rate hikes. So
Okay.
pretty much the same stuff he's been saying
Yeah,
for the past two
I mean,
or 3 years.
like,
Nothing new from him.
I just still can't believe Bitcoin hasn't done anything. When was this? This 15 closure over here. I don't remember that. Yeah, so I mean, still, I mean, we're looking for longs only if the 4-hour candle closes for pretty much all these coins. Ethereum, we're waiting for a closure above like 1876. But remember, if it closes above here, what I'll do is I'll wait for maybe a retest of this level. But if it doesn't retest, then you could actually have like a bar stop above this wick here, and then target that level. But essentially, you could wait for a retest, but sometimes it won't. And then also Link looks good, yeah.
Yeah.
What is the percentage? Yeah, it's a 3% gain.
Yeah, by the way, Powell's still talking. He's still doing the Q&A.
Okay.
So maybe there'll be some last minute volatility that happens.
Yeah. Anything about 𝗬, SUI? Yeah, I mean it got launched on Binance, OKX, I think 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗔𝗡𝗧𝗦. It got launched on all those exchanges there. Let's take a look at it. Yeah, I mean the airdrop, if you guys did partake in the airdrop, you would have made quite a bit of money. But personally, I haven't really looked into it. It is down 39%. Yeah, so it got listed today. Yeah, so it started at a price of 2.16 and it's currently sitting at 1.32. So I mean, for a long term, I would look at this. It's got a good potential in terms of scalability and obviously the token itself. But I mean, it's not. I'm not giving you advice to actually buy the coin. But what I would suggest is you to do your research on it. But I mean, for me, I would look at a long-term hold for this. Yeah, you can see.
Yes, did it just get listed? Because I'm looking at the daily. It only has 1 day of history.
Yeah, it got listed at I think 4 p.m. Dubai time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, today.
All right. Yeah, I mean, there's not much analysis to do from a technical standpoint.
Yeah.
Unless you look at like the 1 minute, maybe. But this is definitely something I would trade.
For these kinds of tokens like SUI, you have to keep in mind that there are a lot of people that have early seed tokens from a very cheap price. So, if you do see good gains upon listing date, I would take the opportunity to liquidate and get back some cash. And then I'd re-identify where the support zone will be. I think especially where SUI was trading, doesn't seem like it's a very fair support zone to jump in.
Yeah.
I think with that, it could really go down. This is no Bitcoin. This is not Ethereum. This token is not something that's quite revolutionary in my opinion. It's just another listed altcoin.
Yeah.
So just be careful.
Yeah.
I played safe for this one.
Yeah, for sure.
Already down 38.9%. Like,
Yeah.
I've also seen listings for tokens where, in a bull market, things could go up a couple thousand%. And that's not completely, but the problem is that SUI did not have that kind of reaction. So you have to react to that. And
Exactly.
based on that, yeah, it's probably not worth the hold in my opinion.
True. Yeah, I mean, Bitcoin's still. Yeah, it looks like Powell's obviously saying something now, getting a bit of a dump. But Ethereum's still holding nicely. Let's have a look at the 15-second chart.
Yeah, Powell's still talking, still going.
How long does he normally go for?
I don't know. It really depends on
The questions.
Usually he doesn't go for this long.
Yeah, that's what I
looks like he's
was thinking.
Looks like he's eager to take some questions today.
Yeah, my stance for Ethereum still stays the same.
Yeah, basically, so far what he said is that, like I said earlier, they need the Federal Reserve needs more data to decide if the Fed funds rate is restrictive enough. And basically, he said, they'll reassess the notion in June. So, really, no clear-cut answers from him.
Okay.
But I guess since there's no clear-cut answer. The market is doing what it's doing, which is kind of, still going sideways in my opinion. I mean, the Nasdaq now is like going back to its lows, and Bitcoin's kind of flushing right now, actually.
Yeah.
Look,
It has its low at 280, but remember this chart it is different in terms of the actual price on exchanges. So let's actually bring Bitcoin back up here.
I'd expect a retracement in the next 15 minutes to an hour.
Yeah.
It makes sense. It's healthy. So I'm very much still neutral.
Also, one thing I noticed during these press conferences is that you have the initial move during the actual press conference day, and like, for example, tomorrow, Thursday, you'll actually have the real move happen. It's just something that I've noticed in past FOMC meetings. So, like, for example, today, let's say the Nasdaq and the S&P finish in a negative. Tomorrow we might actually see the real move, which could be up, or it could just continue downwards. So, yeah, that's why these events are like so tricky to trade, and I try to minimize my exposure to any like big trades I have during these times.
Yeah. Yeah, Bitcoin looks like it's going to test these lows.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Let's see if it holds this level here. But I mean, I think we could look at maybe like 20 past or half past and see if Powell's still talking, but I don't think we need to go past that.
Yeah. The Nasdaq actually went below, hit the lows of the day just now, as did
Let's actually take a look at that.
The Dow Jones and the S&P. So I don't know if you just said something.
I mean, this is typical. We kind of saw this coming, right?
Yeah.
Some downward pressure. The thing to keep in mind of is, are there any anomalies, like with Ethereum still staying, relatively stable?
Yeah, it is.
I still am very much bullish on Ethereum. I think a retracement into 1850 is very likely. A potential entry for anyone who's trying to buy.
Yeah, I agree.
But yeah, things can change very quickly. But the overall range for Ethereum on the daily, still, like, I could see things going into 1600 if market really, pukes here, and things sell off. You can't just simply say, "Oh, the support's gonna hold." Like, might not. We're still in a range. You have to respect the range.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't broken the highs at 1910, on the daily. So anything can happen.
Yeah, and by the way, guys, we all post like analysis in the CoinW Telegram group. So I'll probably, for my evening analysis, I'll probably do a breakdown of exactly what Powell said and the implications on the crypto market. So just sign up for our Telegram group, and we'll keep you posted with all the latest updates. We have 24/7 coverage. Me and Eric are in New York, Dylan's in Dubai. We have an analyst in California and other analysts in Houston. So we got 24/7 coverage of the markets.
Yeah, so you can't complain about any of the not having any analysis. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is why you wait for the 4-hour closure, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a very good example of why patience is key.
Are there any other questions?
It looks like
No, I mean,
people have
he's
gone
still
quiet.
going, by the way.
Is he?
Yeah, still talking.
Which I think in 5 minutes we can probably call it a stream. Looks like
Sure.
it looks like the chat has slowed down a bit. But yeah, thanks everyone for being here. It's been a very exciting stream. We saw quite a big movement for the altcoins. Not really a big movement for the Bitcoin, but at the moment,
Yeah.
it's still respecting the low.
Yeah.
So any thoughts for the last for you guys for the last outro?
Yeah, actually, I do have some notes that came from Powell.
Okay.
So I think this might have caused some downwards pressure. He said it might be too soon to cut rates. He said if the Federal Reserve members are correct, it may take some time for rate cuts to seem plausible. And he said we on the committee have a view that inflation is going to come down, not so quickly. It will take some time. And in that world, if that forecast is broadly right, it would not be appropriate to cut rates, and we won't cut rates. So I think, I don't think the market liked hearing that. I think obviously the market would want to see a rate cut. So if he's saying it would not be appropriate to cut rates, that's obviously not good for the equity and crypto markets. And then he added that demand and labor market conditions will likely need to weaken some more to see progress within non-housing services, and after that, perhaps rate cuts would be appropriate. So yeah, from what I'm reading, it seems like he's very hawkish and is not in a hurry to cut rates anytime soon.
That's interesting. I mean, if you and Eric, any thoughts on your side?
Nothing much, really. I think this could either make it or break it for crypto, in my opinion. As things are not really improving that much on the U.S. front, it'd be interesting to see how the overall market reacts for crypto as well. There have been situations where, it's full on bear market for both, but there could be an opportunity for crypto assets to really see the light here, and really kind of prove to the world that there is room for a safer hedge compared to investing in U.S. equities. So
Exactly.
definitely worth still monitoring closely. I wouldn't be still my philosophy reigns true for the fact that I'm not really going to get involved during the FOMC meeting.
Yeah.
I'm just going to observe on the longer term time horizons to see if things really are holding up. or if they don't. So as traders, it's important to react. There will always be opportunities to join trend, but I don't think we're in that environment right now.
Exactly. I mean, for me, like at the moment, we have a clear range high and a clear range low for Bitcoin, yeah. So
Yeah.
for me, what I'll be doing is waiting for that to obviously break. I don't know why it keeps on going like this.
Yeah, I don't know. Do you guys think this range will break soon, or there's some more like economic releases coming up next week? I think the CPI, if I'm not mistaken,
No, we also have
is coming out next week. So maybe we'll keep
NFP.
ranging until then.
NFP on Friday, we have non-farm payrolls. So I think.
Oh yeah, that's right. So yeah, so Friday morning could be a big day as well.
Yeah, exactly. So I think, yeah, I mean, there's still.
And are we doing a live? Do you know if one of us is doing a live stream during the NFP?
I think, yeah, I think I'm doing an in-app live on Friday.
Oh, okay, great.
Yeah. But I don't think it's during NFP though. I will check. But yeah, it looks like the viewers are coming back. So yeah, if you guys do have any other questions, put it in the chat. But if not, I think we will call it a stream. I do want to say thanks to Eric and Boris for joining me today on this channel. And thanks everyone for being here. And you know, it's been a very very good stream. Obviously, Bitcoin is still respecting this low and the range high. And until that actually gets broken, we won't really be doing anything. And yeah, thanks for being here, guys. I appreciate your time. And remember, guys, there are the links in the description where you can join our channels. And then also we all copy traders on CoinW. So Boris is a copy trader, Eric's a copy trader, and I'm a copy trader. So if you do want to search us, and you can look at our trading style, where Boris is more of a swing trader, I'm more of a scalper, and Eric is also swing and scalper, if I'm standing correct.
Yeah, I'm both.
Yeah, he's both, right? So yeah, so depending on your what you guys would like, if you don't know how to trade or you just don't feel comfortable in the current market situations, you can obviously follow us on CoinW. So yeah, thanks guys for being here. Yeah.
Thanks, guys. Hope to see y'all soon.
Thanks, Dylan, for having us. And yeah, it's been a fun conversation. Had a great time.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Cheers.
Thank you. Cheers.
All right. Cheers. Trade safely.
Yeah, cheers.